ancient visions filled with integrity and common purpose. So, thank you, Fabienne. Welcome. Can you get close enough for you, the mic?
I think so.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? It's so funny everything you are saying right now, because like you said, I know you for quite some time. And you always had that vision. You had it and you expressed it. And you know, you worked through your fear, because at the beginning it was difficult. And I want to say, this is your husband, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. First time I meet you, but you know, I know you. I know you because your wife is always talking about you with so much love and respect and admiration. So I could feel you, you know, through her words and her thought. And you have been a huge reason why all that is possible. You are her foundation, you know. And so I want to thank you for being who you are. And Danielle is helping everybody in so many ways. You know, I'm like her, I'm a teacher, you know, I'm definitely, you know, a healer and all that. But every time I took a class from Reverend Danielle, I got so much joy. And you know that joy is the highest vibration. There's nothing better than that. Today she's emotional and very serious about it, but usually she's funny, you know, she's always very funny and know how to uplift everybody, and you know, you can tell her a terrible story and she'll find a way to make you, you know, take a distance and have a higher vision of the situation, and that is power. And that's what she did with that place. So I'm in. We're going to talk. This is awesome. The topic I had in mind today, interestingly enough, is very close to what Reverend Danielle was talking about today. It's DNA reprogramming. Okay, I love to read and, you know, always try to understand scientifically things that we all know as intuitive. One of the things that we all know is that we can mentally, telepathically, spiritually, reprogram our DNA, our physical DNA. We all knew that, but scientifically we had no proof. Until Russian scientists recently did some research and find out that there is an analogy between the structure of our linguistic, the syntax and the linguistic, and what we call the junk DNA, which is 90% of our DNA. The scientists so far, you know, when they work on cancer, when they work on stuff clinically and in their lab and all that, they only work in 10% of the DNA that is protein. The protein part of the DNA, the only substance that they really work on in labs, in biochemistry and all that. So those doctors, those scientists are biophysicists, and they did some research on the energy and the power and the similitude. They find out that there's a similitude in the structure of linguistic grammar, words, you know, the way language is structured, and that junk DNA, and I respond, can you feel it? That's what explains why physically, if the vibration, the frequency of our voice, for example, that translate, you know, that conduct those words, if they are modulated at the right frequency, they can produce healing, physical healing, because there is no need for decodation. We don't need to decode. It's the same structure, the words we are using, and the structure of our junk DNA. Funny enough, that 90% that they call junk DNA, that is not protein, is the same percentage and the percentage between our conscious mind and our unconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is 90% of your brain. I mean, in hypnotherapy, that's what I use every day, you know, to reprogram the mind for better result with our life and so forth. It's 90%. And the same 10% of consciousness is the same percentage than the protein that is in our DNA, in our body structure. So you see, those scientists, they thought, nature is not stupid. God knows what he did when he created us. That, what they call junk DNA, cannot be junk. It has to have a purpose. So every communication, telepathic thought, I mean, any type of communication, the database of what we know, and that could be also the memory of our karma, you know, what we call past life or whatever, you know, what Carl Jung called the universal consciousness. That can be held in that 90% of the DNA. So it is really something, and you know that when you do theta healing, you go through this activation to cleanse the karma, the past life, the genetic code, but also the one that are from culture and all that. All those information are stuck and recorded into your own DNA. So what powerful is that? That shows that what we do, what we are all doing when we pray, when we attune, you know, when we speak, has power. We can either reinforce the healing and the beautiful vision that we have and all that, or we can destroy it. You know, I mean, at least. Anyway, for me that was very exciting because that's all I do all day long, right? So a confirmation that can be clear and understandable that now scientifically we know we're not crazy. You know, what we believe intuitively is real. Same thing that the Dalai Lama always said, that we can rejuvenate brain cells. He knew it intuitively. All of us, we believed in it, you know. Hypnotherapists believe in it, because otherwise we wouldn't help people who have cancer to rejuvenate from a disease or malfunction. And it works. We have people who are in remission because they use just the power of the mind. And now also, that's a French scientist that proved that the green cells, the neurons, can be rejuvenated. So all of that is good news. I mean, again, we knew it intuitively, but it's also nice to have the science on our side and say, yeah guys, you're not stupid, you know, you knew something good, and that can give us more confidence to go to work, you know, and to know that we are not wasting our time when we are praying and healing, and all the good stuff we are doing for ourselves and for others has power. Do we have a little bit of time? Yeah, okay. If you want, I would like to also share something that happened to me recently, because I'm sure you all have those experiences sometime. I have a girlfriend who called me a few weeks ago, and she was crying, and she's a very strong person. She's not somebody, you know, who would get emotional easily, and I had no idea what she was going through for 2 weeks. She had a daughter in a hospital with a disease that nobody understood what it was about. Her hormones were producing abnormally estrogens, and the consequences were that every organ of her body was shutting down. The kidney, the lungs, the liver, everything was shutting down, and her body was filled with water. So they took care of the kidney first, then they took care of the liver, and then the last one that was the most difficult was the lungs, and they were completely flooded. And you know, I didn't know that, but it's very dangerous when you remove water from the lungs because they can collapse. And when they do, then it's almost impossible to, you know, resuscitate somebody who has that. And she's very young, she's 24 years old. She's going to be a doctor. And so she was in that hospital, and immediately, of course, when my friend was crying and, you know, saying she may die this weekend, they don't know if she's going to survive. She was sleeping at that hospital, staying over there, you know, exhausted. So I said, fine, with my husband, we immediately, first I tried to fly, and it was too complicated, so we drove. They are in Las Vegas. And then she was having the best doctors, because my friend is at, you know, a board member of that hospital, and so they had all the help they could get, but still there's limitations. We came home, we came to the hospital late on a Friday night, I believe, and immediately when I went into the room, she was half unconscious, you know, she was like in a half coma, you know, conscious, unconscious, and, you know, and definitely under a lot of drugs anyway, you know, so it was not very clear. And not capable to speak, she was under, you know, respiratory system and all that. But as soon as she saw me, she did the sign of angels. She knows, you know, that I am with the angels. And her dad, Klaus, immediately, he's very connected to her, of course, but, you know, he read her sign, and he said, angels. And then she nodded her head, you know. So he understood that she was associating me to angels, that the angels were coming. And immediately I could see the light in the room. I could see Archangel Gabriel with her and Mary. And they are Catholic, you know, so they are comfortable with the idea of Mary anyway. But immediately I came to her bed quietly, tuned with her, so Archangel Gabriel and Mary, I say mentally a prayer, and immediately the fear was gone. I knew she was going to be all right. I knew that she was saved, blessed, and everything was done. So I told my friend, I don't need to do anything. Because, you know, they were okay with me maybe doing a healing or doing whatever, you know. And I said, I don't need to do anything, it's already done. It's just going to be all right. The next day, they were able to take her out of the respiratory stuff. I mean, huge shift. But it's just to reassure you, trust what you feel, have that faith. And we know from within what's going on. We need to trust it, you know. And then I liked what Reverend Danielle said, you know, be stubborn, be strong and all that. And I'm Taurus, so I'm probably one of those anyway, you know. I wouldn't claim that I am not like that. But
good for you.
But what I really find that is so useful is to give that to God, you know, and just to say, you know what? Just do it, because I can't do it by myself. If you want me to save the world, like I call, you know, I'm like, Danielle, I have a husband who takes care of me and who is my, you know, strength and support. And I say, you know, we always tease. I say, I go save the world when I go to work, you know, and then he takes care of the bills, you know. But realistically, when I pray, when I tell God, you know, it's like, if you want me to keep doing that work, you've got to help, you know, because I need some reinforcement and proof, and then also the reward that we feel worth it, you know, because otherwise you doubt yourself, you know. So, yes, we need to have faith. Because if we give it to God and we say, okay, it's up to you. If you want me to do that work, bring me the client. If you want me to have the big center, show me the money. Have people volunteer and help and all that. And so yes, we're going to be part of it. We're going to help. We're going to support that place. Because it's needed, it's beautiful, and it's coming from a selfless design. You know, and that's what I wanted to add, is that it's okay to be stubborn as long as we are selfless. It's not about us, you know, as an ego person. It's about that the gift you gave me, God, you know, like to play music, to whatever it is that we're doing, you know, to be an accountant, to be a doctor, to be whatever we do. We do it, therefore it has to work. And so it is, right?
So it is.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When you said you talked to, you said a prayer request to Mother Mary and the angel, what was your request? What did you say?
Well, you know, I'm not typical, I don't need to be intellectually, I don't put stuff necessarily in words when I am praying.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the presence.
Oh, okay.
I invoke. I knew I could feel Mary, I could see Archangel Gabriel above her, and then it definitely was illuminating the room, and immediately, telepathically, I understood from Mary that she was going to leave, but the child was fine and everything was done. And when I got that information, I was saying a prayer, and then immediately the peace came through me, and I told Valerie, you don't have to worry. She's going to live.
Okay.
And when I have that knowledge, you know, when we have that knowingness, we know it's done. Like I know when people are going to die. I know. It's just something that, you know, I'm a shaman.
But when we do want to invoke the presence of a higher being, There isn't some lengthy word-specific incantation. It's just opening your heart and say, come and show me.
It just happened.
Yeah, whatever words that come from your heart. I need you here, I need to see you, tell me what's going on, please come in. You know, ask from your heart.
Right. And it doesn't have to be formal at all. They don't have an ego.
No.
You know, Christ doesn't have an ego. I mean, none of an archangel don't have an ego. We don't need to be, please let me. They don't care about that. It's your intent. It's your, you know, you are there, you open, you're in awe, and you feel and you receive, and when you know, you know. Yeah. And then you act accordingly. Because if I didn't feel that, then I would have taken action. I would have, you know, I would have fight it. That's when the fighter comes, you know, I would fight it. Unless I have that knowledge that it's a karma, and that we need to let her go. And then I would have helped my friends to let her go. But that was not the case. Yeah, you know, again, I mean, that's, you need to trust, you know, using, you know, this kind of stuff. But,
Thank you.
and it's the same with that place, I can tell you, I feel it, it's coming, it's happening, and it's going to be just perfect. There's no doubt.
We will have our conscious community together.
Yeah. So just one word about how personally I would like to volunteer to help, beside what, you know, I'll talk to Reverend Danielle separately. I have a card over there that is for fundraising. So anything you wish to have with me in the future, if you feel called to do so, I'd give 10% of everything. If you tell me I want to do that with the Temple of Light, that's what I'll do. It's my way to, you know, contribute. I always tell people if they want, they can contribute that way to their charity, philanthropic, or sport team. You know, we're also in sports. So I have sometimes clients who are in soccer team. So, because it's important, and I believe that, you know, the flow circulate, and I would be very happy to help.
So when someone comes to see you, they can specify any kind of charity,
They want
and
to
you'll give
support.
10% to
Yeah.
whoever, whether it's
Yeah.
a soccer team or a church.
Right.
Or
Exactly. Yeah, as long as it's a good cause. I mean, I won't sponsor crazy stuff. Like I love animals too, you know.
the tattoo artist convention, no?
Maybe not.
That's gracious of you, and I love that you do that. That's wonderful. That helps people to know that when they invest in themselves, they're also giving to something greater.
Exactly.
And that is the energy of Taurus that we wish to create. So thank you for that vision. That's lovely.
And it's funny that I just bought it. I say I didn't know about the new place. So.